Junko's room. Let's hear your story. 皆さん、アロハ、こんにちは。純子の部屋へようこそ。今日は第2回目の放送です。私は国際交流推進員の西田純子と申します。この純子の部屋、世界の話を聞かせてでは、大島に在住の外国人の方々や大島の方で海外に住んだ経験がある方々にインタビューをし、その中で学んだこと、またそれぞれのライフストーリーを聞いていきたいと思っています。今日は2回目ですが、ゲストとして ALT のアブラハム・アフザルさんにお越しいただきました。
Hello everyone. アブラハムと申します。
こんにちは。
こんにちは。
How is it going? 元気ですか？
It's good, but really hot.
Really hot. You like summer in Japan?
I don't like summer at all. I like cold weather.
You like cold weather. So you're from New York, and many people would think if they hear New York, they would think New York City. How is your hometown like?
Really small. So New York is really wide, and I'm from a small little town 2 hours north of New York City.
Oh, 2 hours worth. Okay. So you grew up there
Until 18 and then went to college outside of New York City.
Oh, okay. So countryside, is it more country than in Oshima?
No, but very rural.
Very rural.
Green, full of cornfields and cows.
Oh, so what was your childhood like?
Like playing outside and really pretty rural, except I stayed inside and watched TV a lot. But when I was in high school, I got a job feeding animals. So
Feeding animals?
Yeah.
Wow, what kind of animals?
there was a retired painter, and we fed his llamas and his birds and his cows.
So you said you were watching a lot of TVs inside. What made you interested in Japanese culture?
Well, I liked anime like everyone, but not a huge amount. But when I was in junior high school, I watched like samurai films like Kurosawa Akira.
Oh,
And
when
so
you're in junior high school?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so from there, I watched in high school a lot of other Japanese films.
For that age, I never heard anybody in junior high school age watching Kurosawa.
It was really nerdy. I was the only one who liked that stuff.
Oh, so you started liking the film first.
Yeah, film first.
Film made you more interested in more in Japanese culture.
Absolutely. And before I graduated high school, I watched Meizan Ikoku.
Oh, I've never watched.
It's I highly recommend it.
Okay.
It's amazing. It's beautiful.
So from that, you majored in Japanese studies or in college?
My college was really rare, and we didn't have majors. And it was freedom. You had a lot of routes. You actually interviewed professors before you took a class to see if to ask them questions about the class and see if you want to take it. When I was a sophomore in college, I took a class on Japanese literature and read from Akutagawa and Soseki to Banana Yoshimoto.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So I love Japanese literature.
What attracts you the most, like, let's say, Japanese films? Like, what's different from American films or other films? Or even the literature or the culture itself?
That's hard. Everything is different. And in fact, when I took that Japanese literature class, all the books we read were really sad. A lot of them had to do with death and suicide. But yet, I thought the writing was so beautiful. Even in translation, I couldn't imagine what it would be like to understand it in Japanese. I just found it so attractive. Particularly when I read Murakami Haruki, who is so famous in American colleges now too. I just thought it was different. I think I've always liked different cultures. So I've often said in Oshima, if I was Japanese, I think I would be obsessed with American culture, like some Japanese people are.
You like other cultures.
Yeah.
But when you were in junior high school, when you first watched Kurosawa Akira, what was the feeling? So what made you?
And those films, particularly Kurosawa, every shot in the film looks like a painting. And like I like ukiyo. I don't know if I'm saying it right. And so and where you go in Japan, it looks like ukiyo. And when you see these films that show Japan, I mean, it's too beautiful. Japan is ridiculously beautiful.
So from that study in college to coming here, what made you decide to apply for a JET or to teach English in Japan?
I had an opportunity to visit Japan before my junior year of college.
Oh, okay.
I came with my professor who actually taught me about Buddhism, and we visited Fukui and Kyoto and Hiroshima.
Oh.
So that was great. I got to see Japan, and it's so amazing. And my teacher of Japanese literature was a JET 30 years ago in Saijo, Hiroshima. And so she always mentioned JET to me, but I had no desire to be a teacher, or even I didn't think I could live in Japan. So I only applied for it because I couldn't think of anything to do my senior year of college. And even now, I still don't know what I'm supposed to be doing.
But you wanted to live, or?
There was a part of me that thought it would be an amazing thing, but I was so scared. I was like most people, like my parents were not scared. My parents supported me. You should do this, you should go and explore. There's many stages to applying for JET, and when I got the interview, I almost felt like, oh, this is bad. I can't do it. I'm a very anxious person. But I'm really happy I did it.
You're happy.
I think the best decision I've ever made.
From that anxiousness to what you are now, you told me before that you're very, very comfortable living in Oshima.
I love it so much. More so than I ever could have imagined. I also came to Oshima or on the JET program thinking 1 year, at 1 year most. And now I will be here for 3 years, and I'm trying to stay as long as possible.
Oh, so you want to stay even after the JET program?
できるだけ. It's very hard. I've been researching a lot about foreigners staying for a long time in Japan.
So what attracts you about Oshima, or why is Oshima so comfortable for you to live, or you love Oshima?
Oh, there's so many reasons. The main reason is the community. And when I got here, there was a water crisis a couple months after I got here.
It was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
And but everyone there's like a farmer's market, and everyone was so kind, and everyone helped each other. And there's a strong sense of community here. And I go out often, and I meet people. Not now because of Corona, everything's canceled, but last year, lots of different events and markets at various places in the island, and dinners and enkais, lots of. I've met a lot of wonderful people here. My first year, normally ALTs, their only friends are other ALTs.
Yes.
And especially the first year, everyone invited me. They were traveling all over Japan. And I want to travel, but my entire first year, entirely I stayed in Tsuoshima.
In Oshima.
And that was a good decision.
And you got to know people, you got to know places. And
yeah, and build my community.
Good.
Yeah.
And you want to live
I would live,
forever.
Absolutely.
Forever?
Recently, I've been saying, I'm only 24. I tell everyone and my parents, I want to buy a house here.
Oh, you need to find somebody too.
Yeah, I need to find somebody.
If you know somebody for Abe, please let us know so that he can continue to live in Oshima.
Yeah, Oshima is amazing.
Oh, good. So, you're also teaching or assistant. You're assistant teacher to schools and assistant teacher in English classes. How are the students?
I love the students. The students
Oshima.
are the most important thing. So that to me, my image, my job is to befriend Japanese children because they. Same with the community. I'm kind of the first foreigner friend for a lot of my friends here. And so for the children teaching them English is not my first priority. Because if they don't want to learn English, then that's okay. Then they should still want to be friends with the foreigner. I just think that's the most important. I love my students. They're so wonderful.
Yes, you're very outgoing or friendly. So even if the students can be shy, but if you are very like if there's a wall, you jump over the wall and then try to be friends.
That's
with the students or the teachers.
There's a strong wall, I feel, between foreigners and Japanese people, and it's really hard to break. And so I've tried that very hard with the teachers too. I'm really annoying to I feel I ask them constantly about their personal lives to try and break through this sort of like shield of the school. Where do you live? What do you like to do?
Yeah.
Do you like this, you know?
Yeah. And also I sometimes see you on purpose. You use weird Japanese so that students or the teacher would laugh. And that's an ice-breaking time.
Yeah.
You do that.
Absolutely. I think language to me is like a puzzle. So using it in funny different ways is just enjoyable. And I want people to do that more with English. You know, and get to this idea that laughing at mistakes is fun. Making funny Japanese is fun. So please make funny English, and it's not like a mistake, you know.
Yes. So you want students not be scared of mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a student for a while who would say bad morning to me instead of good morning. And I love that. I thought it's brilliant, you know. Bad morning, because you're thinking about it, you know. Yeah.
What was the most difficult time in Oshima?
I wouldn't say there was a particularly, like one difficult time. For me particularly, it's a language. I can't speak Japanese, like Azaria, very well. So after 1 year, you get these extremely anxious thoughts. After 1 year, I felt, you don't belong here because you're not Japanese, and I couldn't speak the language, and I can't navigate things. Even going to a grocery store is very stressful. And as a foreigner in rural Japan, you get stared at all the time.
Yeah.
And so for a lot of time, I'll feel fine. But at least once or twice a year, for some foreigners, once every couple of years, you go through a time where you feel, oh, I don't belong here because I can't relax. So after a year or two, I walk around my neighborhood, and I've lived here for a year, I thought, and cars from outside of Oshima would stop by and stare at me like an animal. And I thought, how long could I want to live here for 10 years or 20 years, but that will always happen, and that will never go away.
So what was the most enjoyable moment in Oshima?
I can try to think of one moment.
Or you can say several.
I can't say, there's so many good moments. It's hard to think.
Too many. I've done a lot of stuff, and Hiroro stuff. Just spending time with my friends is really nice. And for me, who doesn't speak a lot of Japanese, though I speak more now, building those friendships to the point where in the beginning there's a wall, and then now years later it's broken, and they just see me as a friend, and that feels really good. You've lived here about 2 years now. What do you do on weekends?
I love driving because I can listen to music, and there's no more beautiful place in the world than Oshima.
Wow.
So I've driven so many roads in Oshima, and every area of Oshima feels different. Like Yashiro Dam, or if you go to Yu on the far east side, I mean, you feel it's just incredible, the different feeling. I don't know how else to describe it. But the 4 areas of Oshima, Tachibana, Oshima, Kuka, Toa, they feel so different. And the people feel different, the schools feel different, and like the colors feel different. Like Migama feels very green to me. And yeah.
Higher mountain.
Well, so I love Toa, and every little town, it's just, there's so much going on in Oshima, I feel. Yeah.
Good. では最後に、海外経験で学んだことを一言、アブラハムさんにとっては大島に住んで学んだことをご紹介していただきたいと思います。では。
はい。Kindness.
Kindness. Yeah. So, what? Can you explain a little bit more?
The meaning, helping and being kind to people, even if you don't speak the same language. That's kindness. that I found in Tsuoshima. Yeah. People who want to help me and make me feel comfortable, even when communication is very hard. There's so much kindness in Oshima.
ありがとうございます。アブラハムさん、今日のインタビューの中で私は思ったんですけども、やっぱりすごく人が大好きで、外国人、大島に住む日本に住む外国人だとやっぱりちょっと相手が緊張してしまったりとか、ちょっと話しかけづらいなっていう壁があると思うんですけども、アブラハムさんはその壁をすごく簡単にというか越えて、そのもう一歩先にこのリーチするというか、友達になるっていう努力をされているんだと思います。それがすごく辛い努力ではなくて、それがとっても好きで、さっきもそのカインドネスっていうお話がありましたけども、大島でたくさんのその優しさを受けて、それを返したいと思う思いもあり、なんていうんですかね、人と人をつなげるであったりとか、お友達になるっていうことをすごく大事にしていらっしゃるのかなというふうに思いました。アザリアさんもですけども、アブラハムさんも大島にこれからもうあと1年いらっしゃるっていうことで、島の中で見かけたらぜひ声をかけてお友達になってみてください。では今日はいかがでしたか？ How was the interview?
It was really good. I'm so sorry I don't speak Japanese.
Oh no, it's okay.
Yeah, they were really fun anytime.
Yes, but you will study Japanese. Yes.
Very as much
That's
as
your
I can.
chance.
Yeah.
Yes.
For the rest of my life.
Yes. はい。
はい。
では皆さん、今日はご視聴ありがとうございました。Thank you for watching.
ありがとうございました。本当にありがとうございました。バイバイ。